Hey, this is India with Bags and Lifestyle. Thank you so much for watching this video. And let's go ahead and get into Lisa Todd Wexley. I have been doing a Just Like That Most Notable Handbags mini series. This is going to be the last episode. So if you have not seen all of those episodes, I will link one of the episodes at the end of this video, as well as all of the mini series that I recorded in the description box. So make sure you check out my description box. There's some helpful information in there. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So I wanted to talk about, like I said, Lisa Todd Wexley's character. But first, before we talk about her character specifically, I did want to talk about kind of reason why. So first off, I love the way that they actually, I said I wasn't going to first talk about Lisa Todd Wexley, but anyway, so let's just get into it. Okay, so with Lisa Todd Wexley's character, I did appreciate how they threw in specific cultural references. They added more depth to her character by using several scenes that basically choreographed a message, and if you caught it, you caught it. Also, they use other supporting characters like Lisa Todd Wexley's family to help pull in messages that should be seen by a broader cast, or not broader cast, actually by the masses is what I want to say. So backing up a little bit, so and Just Like That is a reboot of SATC from the 90s. So back then in the 90s, a lot of casts were predominantly casts of the same race, and they were segmented. So for example, me being Black, I watched a lot of shows with Black characters, and so that was Living Single, also Girlfriends, Moesha. Those shows had if they're pretty much most of their main characters, if not all their main characters from all of those shows, were Black. Whereas when you had your shows that were ran or cast by predominantly white main cast characters, that's Friends, that's example of that. Also, Seventh Heaven. My husband's calling me, but I'm trying to ignore it so I can keep talking. Seventh Heaven is another example. Dawson's Creek, another example where when you had the main characters, when they were usually of the same color and they were segmented into different shows. They weren't commingled in the same show. Whereas, and Just Like That, a lot of shows now are trying to kind of mingle casts together of different races, which is definitely appreciated. I'm not saying that they got everything right within Just Like That, or that there aren't some improvements that they could make, but I like the efforts that they made. There will be articles, links down below that I've read to help pull together my thoughts on this. So I definitely encourage you to look at that box again, to the details box, to look over that information. There were some things that three examples of how they helped add more depth to Lisa Todd Wexley's character, which was noticed. So first up is the fact that I am Black and my hair is natural. And even if my hair is not natural and it's relaxed, either way, a lot of Black people tie their hair down at night. Usually we use a silk scarf, or we use a satin covering. Maybe that's a bonnet, maybe that's a scarf or something. But the fact that she tied her hair down was something that I've noticed. And it's not the first show that I've noticed that on, but something that I did want to mention, because this show, SATC, traditionally, the original version had all white cast. So you didn't see them tying their hair down at night. So this is a difference with this character for a different audience. And that's the reason why I wanted to point it out. The other piece I wanted to point out is another cultural reference, is the fact that Herbert's mother is probably in or playing a role for around her 80s. And back then, that group of people grew up in a different country. Not saying that the things that they dealt with they are not happening today, because they are, but it's there was still kind of a different thought process, a different time, as well as a method for how they decided to move themselves through life, as well as move their children through life. That is slightly different from now. So Herbert's mother being vocal about wanting to make sure that their daughter's hair looked a certain way. So I don't remember the number episode, but I did remember that where his mother was coming to visit. Now, when his mother was not around, their daughter was allowed to wear her hair natural, curly, beautiful, puffy, just like it was. Whereas when his mother came, they pulled her hair back in a French braid to make it look more tame. So traditionally, and I won't say that this has gone away, there are still people who feel this way, but there are efforts to try to change that. But natural hair, natural hair from Black people a lot of times is very puffy, it's curly. It was seen as unruly, it was seen as unprofessional. That's why a lot of people used relaxers or hot combs to straighten their hair to help assimilate into a world where they needed to assimilate into a world that looked at their hair as a negative. And we'll leave it at that. So that was a reference that I noticed because I am Black. So I caught on to it. But I also appreciated that the subtle messages that they showed within and just like that around these kind of cultural references are things that it helps the masses see, that are things that are very specific to a specific group of people. The other example I wanted to mention is the infamous closet episode. So Dale's Addiction actually did a video on this. So if I can remember, I will link her video down below where she talked about that episode. And I mean, my blood boiled when that girl was in Lisa Todd Wexley's closet. So to quickly set it up for you, if you have not seen the show, Lisa Todd Wexley's son is dating a girl, and so this girl was a little bit more free with her, what do I want to say? She's just a little bit more out in the open with certain things. Like she was very much so touching her son in a way in public that most girls would not be doing, especially in front of their parents or other parents that they know their parents. So she's a little bit more free with things. And so she definitely did not have any boundaries when it came to Lisa Todd Wexley's closet. And so she had complimented Lisa Todd Wexley's purse that morning. Later on that day, when Herbert and Lisa Todd Wexley came home, the girl was in her closet trying on her purse. She handled it very well because I do not know if I would have reacted that same way if some little teenage girl was in my closet. The fact of it wasn't the closet really. It actually was Herbert's reaction after everybody left the room. So after Lisa Todd Wexley basically told that girl, "Put my stuff back. Don't ever come back in here again and get out." Herbert and her son were still in the closet, and he told him, "I can't save you, boy." And I thought that was so spot on and accurate because that is definitely something I know my husband would say if we had a son and he was like, "Look, I can't save you from your mother. You have to just deal with what's about to come." So that was something that I thought was definitely very spot on with the way that he reacted in private to his son. I just wanted to pause here for a second and just say that some of these things that I'm talking about, the things that I mentioned in examples are, I know there's a writer's strike going on right now. Not sure if it'll still be going on by the time this video goes up, but I did want to mention that with this big push of AI and a lot of people, which I expect as well, where there's going to be a change and there's going to be workforce reductions likely in certain spaces because AI can help make things more efficient. This is where AI cannot do everything. It does not replace human beings, it does not replace representation. And that is where AI can help, obviously, but it doesn't replace the fact that there needs to be representation in the cast for different things, whether that's age, that's gender, whether that's race, what have you. There needs to be representation in the cast. There also needs to be representation in the writer's room as well as representation in the director's room in order to pull together these cultural nuances from different variety of different areas, like I said, from all of those different things that would help pull together relevance as well as accuracy to a show when you're writing a script that makes it resonate better with the audience. AI can't do that. A human being has to do that. And now I'll get off my soapbox and move on. If you're at this point of the video, thank you so much for continuing to watch. Please go ahead, hit that like button. If you are new here, definitely consider subscribing. I cover content related to fashion as well as lifestyle topics. So I record videos I was about to say every 6 weeks. That is not right. I record 6 videos a month. So every other week you get 2 videos is what I'm trying to get to you. So definitely consider subscribing and watch another video. I encourage you to come back and throw your suggestions down below too. I also take viewer suggestions, and if I can do them, I will work them into my schedule. So I really would appreciate that as well. That helps give me ideas. Okay, so back to Lisa Todd Wexley. So other pieces where I thought they did a good job with Lisa Todd Wexley's character was the fact that she was this woman whose husband was financially very successful. This man also was a great husband and great father to his kids and his wife. And there were periods of time where you saw that actually there was a scene where she was trying to get funding for a play or a documentary, I want to say, that she was trying to produce. And I remember her daughter being in the room. So she was probably around, I think her daughter is definitely elementary school age, like less than 5th grade. I can definitely say that. And Herbert said to her, why don't I just write you a check? And so I can a little on one side understand kind of like what he was trying to do. He was trying to help his wife, help support his wife, seeing that she was going through a lot and he financially could help her. But at the same time, she's trying to raise a strong girl that is able to stand on her own 2 feet. And the fact that even though her husband can help write a check, Lisa Todd Wexley, being a person that is independent and wanting to stand on her own 2 feet as well, appreciated that her husband can do that, but at the same time is teaching her child a valuable lesson. And especially with it being a field, I think, where it's predominantly male led, the feats that she's trying to go through, the hoops that she's trying to jump are major as well. So she's, in a perspective of race as well as a perspective of gender, in a field where she doesn't see a lot of a lot of representation from her there. And so also teaching her daughter that valuable lesson too. And so I like that kind of those nuances where it was very powerful things that were fit within less than a minute. But when you caught it, you caught it. And I think those were very valuable things also as another example of why I appreciated the work that they did with Lisa Todd Wexley. Also, pulling together very notable actors and performers from like my mom's generation, for example, or my grandmother's generation, I think were very, very helpful, as well as helping build up the cast that looked different from the main cast from SATC back in the 90s. So they pulled in Billy D. Williams, who played Lisa Todd Wexley's father. They also pulled in Herbert's mother, was played by Eunice. Oh, Eunice Wexley was her name. I'm sorry, but Eunice Wexley whose Herbert's mother was played by Pat Bowie, who is a famous jazz singer, I believe. Let me look at my notes here. Yes, jazz singer, to help also add that extra layer of depth. And you also saw this kind of these people who represented Black excellence, for example, pull into this character too, which I thought was very notable, and I definitely appreciated that as well. So these are all examples of what the work that they tried to do to add layers to one main character to flesh out certain things that they wanted the masses to see when they saw this show. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, we talked about the family, so we did that. So the other piece that I want to get to also is the artwork in Lisa Todd Wexley's home. I'm going to read from my notebook over here because I'm trying to go off of my notes. I wrote down a lot. So the other thing that they talked about was the fact that they wanted to highlight Black art, since we have this wealthy, notable Black family basically as main characters that you're seeing every day. And they want to flesh this out also in the representation of what they use to decorate their home. And so I remember in one of the articles that will be linked down below, they had talked about how, I can't even remember how they got to it, but they talked to someone who then introduced them to this museum that opened up their eyes and the doors of Black art collectors. And there were so many beautiful artwork pieces that they put around Lisa Todd Wexley's home to help just, it wasn't something that was verbally said, but it helped fill in the details of the character. It helped add depth as well to their home. As I don't know how to further explain it, but I really love that they pulled in those references of art into their home that you saw hanging up beautifully in background scenes, which were very nice and very much appreciated. The last part that I want to talk through here, and this is the reason this episode, which was episode 7, is the reason why I wanted to make this episode, this video, is there was a bomb cyclone happening in New York, and there was a event where I think Lisa was debuting her documentary, and she had to get there. There were no cars driving around New York at that time, and that woman went on foot. And that's what I completely appreciated. The scene where she basically she got her stuff together. When she got into the bathroom to change her clothes, first off, she was dressed to the nines. Okay, like dressed, oh, amazingly dressed. And she took her hat off, and she had this beautiful, elegant, sparkly head wrap over her head to keep her hair back, because I'm sure her hair was tied down probably in cornrows or something like that, so she could get her wig on. And and so people who like people who out there who had like Black grandmothers, great grandmothers, aunties, like they liked their wigs. Okay, they had their dues that they put on, and so you didn't play with that hair. Okay, and so the thing is that it was nothing said. Actually, I think there was only a few, like maybe 1 or 2 sentences, but the dramatic lighting, focusing on the beautiful head wrap or the scarf around her head to protect it, very much appreciated. It helped add more appreciation to the work that they did to this character. And then there was a woman. Let me scroll up. So so there were very few words said in this scene, but it was very powerful, like I said, through the dramatic lighting. It showed her elegance, it showed her determination, it showed her strength, which I feel like they tried to show the essence or pay tribute to the powerfulness of a Black woman. And that is what I got from this episode as me being a Black woman. The things that she did to get to the room, get into this room and do what she needed to do to make sure that her documentary did as best as it possibly could. And then I want to say, I don't have what was said. I want to say she said something like "can't keep us down" or something like that. I don't remember what she said, but I really wanted to point out that scene because it spoke to me just so much, and I was very proud to see it, and hardly any words were said. So let me know what you all thought of, and just like that, if you watched it, what did you think about Lisa Todd Wexley's character? I have recorded this for I think twice, and I've been trying to pull everything together in a shorter format. So I'm sorry this video is so long, but I did want to throw in a lot of information and put more context to the reasons why I wanted to focus on that character, because I really did appreciate the work that they did and with this character. And there were other characters on there. I just wanted to focus on Lisa Todd Wexley. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, and thank you so much. I'll talk to you again soon.